The Xbox 360 is over 20 years old, and during its life, it built one of the greatest libraries of video games ever made from any generation ever. And here's the crazy part. There are more than 1,000 games on the Xbox 360, and most people, including myself, have only played a tiny fraction of them. So I've decided to do something a little bit ridiculous, probably a little bit stupid, and maybe even impossible to do. And that's because I'm going to attempt to collect every single Xbox 360 game that released here in the UK. Every classic, every hidden gem, every game that's been forgotten about, I'm going to try and add to my collection. And this will include a lot of terrible games, a lot of games that I don't want to or might not ever play, but it's also going to include lots of games that I've never had the chance to play before that are actually great and worthwhile owning. So starting today, I'm going to be on the hunt for Xbox 360 games, whether it's in charity shops, at CEX, or on eBay or Vinted. Anywhere I go or anywhere online I'm looking, I'm going to be on the hunt for these games. And the question is this even possible? Well, the hunt starts now, so let's see how it goes. And I want you to let me know what games I should pick up like sooner rather than later in the comments below. Games that you think it's just worth me playing, games that you think might go up in value, games that I maybe haven't got on the shelves behind me and you think I need to own them. So yeah, let me know them down in the comments, please. Yeah, so first off, the Xbox 360, if you watch any of my videos, you'll know that it is my favourite games console of all time. It's the console I kind of grew up with when I was in secondary school, upper school, high school, I guess if you're in America watching. So I've got the most nostalgia for this console. It's the console I've got the most love for absolutely by far. And yeah, I just absolutely love this system. Now, as you can see, if you watch any of my content, you'll know I've got a video game room. I've got not a huge collection, but not a small collection. I've got about 1,000 games already in the room, about 20 video game consoles. And that's not just a one system. So I collect traditionally in quite like a scattergun approach. So I go through phases. 1 week I'm like collecting for the PS3 Essentials, for example. The next week I'm trying to pick up Nintendo DS games. Then I'll be collecting Xbox controllers like behind me. And I've always been like that, and that's just because I sometimes get like a little bit bored collecting for the same thing. So if I'm collecting for just PS3 games, for example, I'll collect them. I don't have that much nostalgia for the PS3, so I'll probably watch someone on YouTube. I'll start collecting them, following the kind of trends that are going on. And then I'll get a little bit bored, and I'll fall back, and then I'll start collecting for something else. Now, when I started collecting probably about 8 years ago now, between 6 and 8 years ago, I properly started collecting for, video games, and this is where the room came as it is today. More recently, in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say, it came together as it is now. And I've never ever had the ambition to collect a full set. Look, collecting a full set is stupid for so many reasons. I mean, first of all is the fact that most systems have a lot of shovelware. So in particular, the DS and the Wii are known for it more than any other, I'd say. But the Xbox 360, as good as it was, and it really did have one of the best libraries of games, ever for any system, like I've already mentioned. But there still is a lot of rubbish on there. There's still a lot of games that I probably don't have any interest in or won't ever want to play. So it does mean buying those. Secondly is the price aspect. Like, there are 1,000 games, over 1,000, 1,200 and something, or just shy of 1,200 on the system. Even if that averages out at £5 a game, we're looking at like £6 for the collection. So, look, I'm not rich, I've not got tons of money or anything like that. This is going to be, and I am under no illusion, this is going to be a quick thing. This is going to be a slow burner. It's going to require a lot of patience, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I completely understand that. However, the positives, I guess, are that by committing to do this, it kind of keeps me on the straight and narrow. It gives me like a collection, a target to go for. And like I mentioned, when I'm going for that scattergun approach where I'm buying different consoles, different systems each week, each month, it kind of doesn't, it's not as satisfying. I'm buying things that I don't really care about. I'll pick up a PS3 game that I'm never going to play, and then I'll pick up a DS game that I don't have no interest in. At least with the Xbox 360, I've got a target to aim for, so everything builds towards that. And even if it's a game that I don't intend to play, that I might pick up, like say I think I'm missing maybe one of the FIFA games. I think FIFA 08 Euros I'm missing. If I pick that game up tomorrow, I'm probably not going to play it because I've got another 10, 15 FIFA games on the 360. But if it's only £1, it kind of goes towards the target and towards the collector side of things. So it means every game has got a purpose. I'm not just picking things up with no reasoning at all. At least there'll be kind of some reason for picking these games up. Secondly, I'll hopefully find a lot of hidden gems along the way. Games that I didn't play when I was growing up. Games that I've not jumped back into now because I've never known about. And as I go on the hunt, hopefully we'll pick some of them games up. Anyway, that's enough talking for now. First of all, as you can see behind me, I've already got a substantial Xbox 360 collection. So let's add up how many games we've got, and that way we'll know how many games to go. Okay, yeah, so I've currently got 5 shelves of games. Now, each of these shelves, I believe, hold 51 games. However, we've got some duplicates, such as World at War, Black Ops. So I'm just going to have a quick tally through, kind of get like an exact number, and then we will go from there. Okay, so yeah, I think we've got 250 games with, I think, 3 duplicates. Now, I might have miscounted that, but yeah, I think we're at 247, so that's a number we will go with, okay? 247 games. I have got 5 games I'm going to show you in just a second on the camera, but 247 games is our starting point. Now, in terms of any notable games, notable inclusions in my collection, first off, it's worth noting that a lot of the Xbox 360 games have been really, really cheap for years. Now, 2 years ago, I think it was 2024, maybe 2024 I think it was, when the online store closed. A lot of game shopping price, a lot of people started picking up Xbox 360 games. They didn't shoot up massively, but they certainly rose. Like games that were £1 are now £2, games that were £2 are now £4, etc, etc, etc. And there is also a handful, or maybe like a large handful of rarity games, I would say. I don't know how many there are exactly, but I think there maybe are like 20 or 30 games that are over £30-40 mark. And we've not got many of them, but we have got some of like the mid-range, I would call the mid-tier games. So the most notable ones I would say are, first of all, Lollipop Chainsaw we already own. This is, I think it's like £45 at the moment at CEX. I think this is probably the most expensive one I've got in the collection. And this is also complete with, I think it's the insert, not the manual. So yeah, we've got that one. That's probably the biggest hit we've got. And then there are quite a few games that are around the £20 mark. So we've got Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, which I think are £15 and £22 at CX at the moment. So £35 worth just in them alone. We have then got Guitar Hero Greatest Hits, which again I think is like £25 at the moment. So another decent one to have. Digimon Rumble, also Rumble, I think that's £20 as well. So again, another good one to have. I'm just trying to think what else we've got. Things like Forza Horizon around the £10-12 mark. As is Fallout New Vegas, again £10 to £12 mark. Some of the Guitar Heroes, I think Guitar Hero Aerosmith is around the £10 to £12 mark as well. We've then got the Orange Box, which I think is £20 again. So another good one at that price. A couple of the Spider-Man games. Now, I know all the Spider-Man games on the Xbox 360. It's definitely the most expensive subset. With, I think, Web of Shadows, I think it is like £85 now, which is crazy. We've just got Amazing Spider-Man 1 and the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which are both, I think, around £15 at the moment. And then a couple of other £10-ish games, such as Leisure Suit Larry, which is quite, I think, unusual and uncommon. And this triple pack that includes Limbo, Trials HD, and Explosion Man. And aside from all them, a lot of the other ones we've got are just the staples that you'd expect. We've got all the Assassin's Creed, we've got most of the Assassin's Creed games, Battlefield games, Call of Duty, Borderlands, FIFAs, you know, the Halo games, obviously, the Gears of War games, obviously. We've got most of the Lego games, a few Kinect games, we've got Resident Evil games. Yeah, a lot of the staples, a lot of the classics that you'd expect most collections to already have. Not many that are super rare or super uncommon, other than the ones I've just mentioned, which means we've probably got quite a lot of harder finds to get. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to finding the games that I've only got 2 in stock at CX across the country. So, and finding good deals on them as well. That's where the hunt, I think, is going to be quite enjoyable. Trying to find those games that are niche. And as the collection grows, the games that I need will continue to get kind of harder to find, which will mean that the longer the collection goes on for, the longer this hunt goes on for, the more interesting it will get and gather momentum towards the end. Okay, yeah, so about 247 games, if I added them up correctly, already on the system. Now, I looked around and I think there's about 1,186 games to collect, which means I've got about 930-ish games to collect, which is absolute madness. But it's a really good start. 247 games is a fantastic start. And I've actually already picked some games up this week. So I went to CEX, my local CEX. Also went to another CEX on my lunch break at work when I was over in Leeds last week. So yeah, let me show you what I picked up just now. So first up, so most of these are cheap games, just to let you know, they're not like anything special. First up, we've got Rugby World Cup 2015. Again, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I am a big sports fan, like sports games, my guilty pleasure. So when I'm not playing a big AAA 10 out of 10 game, I'm usually like jumping into a game of FIFA, game of rugby, game of basketball, whatever it might be, even the Winter Olympics game I was enjoying recently. So £2 for that one. Don't know how it plays. We'll check it out though. The sports games I do tend to actually pop in and play just because they're easy to, bosh half an hour out on them and just see how they get on. So happy to have that one in the collection. I then picked up, following the themes, a little bit of theme here with cheap sports titles, PES 2012. And crazy enough, this is the first PES game I've actually got on the 360. Growing up, I always played FIFA a lot more, so didn't really play the PES games, and therefore didn't jump back into them when I've been older, didn't jump into them at all. So yeah, PES 2012 is the first one I picked up, and that was £2.50. And then PES 2010. This was only £1, and I am a big Liverpool fan, so yeah, it's got Torres on the front alongside Messi, which is nice. And then picked up the most expensive game from this 5, and that is Guitar Hero Van Halen, which now takes me up to, I believe, the full set of Guitar Hero games on the Xbox 360. I already had, as you can see, Greatest Hits, World Tour, Aerosmith, Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Legends of Rock, Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, and Guitar Hero 5. So yeah, Guitar Hero Van Halen to go alongside them is very nice. This one was £12, but it does come with the manual and also a poster, which I'm pretty happy about because who doesn't love like summer bonus, like a poster or something? I think one of the early things I'll probably do on this journey to collecting every game is finish subsets. So that's a Guitar Hero subset sorted now. There are other subsets up here that I still have to add games to. I think I'm actually missing one of the Halo games, crazy enough. Some of the Forza games, some of the Call of Duty games. So yeah, completing subsets will certainly be a kind of a mini target to go for early on before I jump into maybe some of the rarer, more expensive titles. And then last up, I have Fallout 3, and this is one of the expansion packs, so it's called Game Add-on Pack, Broken Steel and Point Lookout. Yeah, I've already got Fallout 3 obviously, and I've also already got Fallout 3, the Pit and Operation Anchorage. So yeah, that's both. I think there's just 2 now. I think there's just 2 available, so that's both of the Fallout 3 add-on packs in the collection, which again is another subset, well, a mini subset, Fallout 3 mini subset complete. So let me add these 5 to the shelf, and that will then take me on to 252 games, which is more than 20% of the collection done. There we go, we've got a starting point, 252 games. What I'll do is I'm going to keep a tracker up in the top corner of how many games we've got in the collection, and then what we will do is I'll update our tracker as the videos go on. I'm not going to do videos on this every single week. I'm probably going to do 1 video a month. So I'll create a new playlist down below that you can follow the journey on, and I will do a video every month as to how many I've got. Now, I was kind of doing some quick maths in my head and thinking, how long is this going to take? With 900 games to get, let's just say 900 like flat number. If I was to get 1 game a week, that would take, 50 weeks? So that would take 18 years. So I need to get more than 1 game a week. Now, if my maths is all on there, once they call me out on it, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. So if I was to get 5 games a week, which we've got this week pretty easily, that'd be 250 games a year. So that would take, 4 years to do, less than 4 years, which is probably quite realistic, but it's no fun for you guys watching. You don't want to be watching this for 4.5 years. So I think what I'm going to try to do is aim for 10 games a week. 10 games a week would give me 500 games a year, 520 games a year. Would take me under 2 years to do. Take about between 18 months and 2 years to do. And I think that's realistic. Look, a lot of these games are like £1, £2, £3. So that's not that bad if I'm spending £20 a week on it. And I'm not picking up other games for other systems, and I can trade games in and trade other things in as I go. Find good deals on Vinted, find good deals on eBay. I'm not just going to be paying market value at CEX for all these games. And then what we'll do is, I guess once a month or once every 3 months, I will go out my way to pick up a heavy hitter. So there are not that many heavy hitters on the console. There are a few. But yeah, I hope you enjoy following me on this journey. Please do subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, kind of follow this playlist or look out for updates, because I want to take you on this journey with me. So yeah, I'm going to be out this week. CEX's, charity shops, like I say, browsing Vinted, eBay, looking for those better deals. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep gaming.